So I was just minding my business, finishing up work for the day, when suddenly one of the most interesting, thought-provoking, and important pieces of writing that I have read for some time in MMA releases. I saw it posted on Twitter and checked it out. I'm of course talking about the Players Tribune essay, Tribune from the one atomweight world champion Angela Lee. Before we dive into this too much, two things straight out the gate. First of all, check the written piece out for yourself. It is quite long, but it's a very, very good read and a very courageous piece of work. And also, I'm going to give a bullet points kind of version of what is said in this, the kind of key points. And some of those things involve topics like suicide and depression and things like that. So just a disclaimer there. But as I said, read it for yourself, or if you just want to get my bullet point kind of version so that we can talk about this a little bit more. Touching on Angela Lee as kind of an overview before we get into it. Of course, the one atomweight world champion who has been inactive since her last fight. Inactive for some time now because we found out very late on in December, I believe just a day before New Year's, maybe it was, that her younger sister Victoria Lee had passed away. Of course, a one championship fighter, as well as their brother Christian, who is a double champion in the promotion. Since then, we haven't found out too much about it, and both Christian and Angela have been inactive since that point, to the extent to where next weekend at One Fight Night 14 there will be an interim champion crowned in the atomweight division when Stamp Fairtex faces Hamseo Hee. Which I will have a video on, but that's not the time to talk about this fight because this is far more important right now. This article, Resilient by Angela Lee. Again, let me give you the kind of bullet points version. I have the thing up here, and so we will just dive into some of the bullet points. Like I said, it is a long article, so I will do my best to kind of highlight some of the key things if you haven't read it, though I would seriously recommend doing it because it is fantastic. So really early on, it tells you exactly what you're going to be in for here. And again, I did already throw up a kind of disclaimer, so we're going to get straight into it now. Saying that 6 years ago, she tried to end her life. Some of you may remember, if you've been One Championship fans going back that far, that she was involved in a car crash late in 2017. And in this Players Tribune thing, she is talking about how it wasn't an accident and that she intentionally did it to try and end her life. As I said, I warned you out of the gate, this gets very serious. If you actually go on Wikipedia, it still has the version of events that we thought happened, which reads, on November 8th, 2017, Chatri Sityodtong announced that Angela Lee was involved in a serious car accident after she fell asleep at the wheel of her car. She managed to survive the incident with a concussion and minor burns. Lee's bout with Mei Yamaguchi, that was scheduled for November 24th, has been rescheduled to May 18th, 2018, and Lee went on to win that fight via unanimous decision. So she kind of takes you back to where her life was at in 2017. She'd become the first female world champion in the history of One Championship at just 20 years old the year before, produced 2 title defenses in 2017, and goes on to talk a lot about the pressure that she was feeling at this time, specifically about making weight, and how if she didn't make the weight, she felt like all of it was for nothing, and that she had let not only her family down, but herself down and everyone down. She goes on to say about not wanting to tell anyone about how she was feeling, and how on November 6th it all kind of came to a head after realizing that she was probably not going to be able to make weight in time for the contest, of course, because of One Championship's hydration testing, which she talks about in the thing about, you have to gradually cut the weight, you can't crash cut, because you will not be cleared to fight in that circumstance. A really powerful line here. It says about, I broke, I didn't care anymore, I kept going back and forth with thoughts in my head, talking myself in and out of possibilities. I wanted to escape. I told myself I have to take myself out of this fight. She talks about not telling anyone this beforehand. She goes on to say that she'd tell her husband or fiance. We'll get to that. So she got in the car and planned to drive off of this this area near her. And yeah, okay, that's the bit I'm on. Sorry, it's difficult to kind of retread this. It's a long piece and stuff like that. She talks about how she used to take this highway to get to the gym, and at one point of the road there's a bend in it, and there's a mountain on the other side. There's a gulch, and that's where she planned to drive the car off of to get herself out of this fight. I've personally never heard a story like this before, and that's why I think it is so brilliant and why you should go check it out. She also talks about, at one point, trying to break her own arm or give herself a concussion whilst nobody was awake in her house to also get out of this fight. And she talks about driving up to that point where she was going to drive off and not being able to do it on the first time, and then doing it the second time that she drove back round. And of course, the car crash, she was... As the Wikipedia article correctly states, she was okay from the car crash, but she woke up in hospital. I'm skipping over a ton of details because it's super in depth, and obviously this is a story that she has never told anybody apart from Bruno Pucci, and so it is she's getting everything out, and so I'm doing a Cliff Notes version, as I have said. So yeah, we're skipping over a ton of details here, of course, because the stuff between her and her husband Bruno is a huge part of this, as we will loop back round to towards the end. She still ended up going to the event in Singapore, as she says, and meeting the fans and basically lying in interviews and stuff like that about what had happened, and starting to come out on the other side. And a huge thing that she talks about in this is about, you know, finding the simple things in life that keep her happy, and things like that, and release the pressure, a lot of which she has been doing since December, which again we will get to in a minute. If you have been keeping up on what Angela Lee has been doing and stuff like that, that is kind of how this year has gone for her, kind of taking a step back and just enjoying being a mother and a wife and all of these things. I just got to that bit, so that's good timing. She then goes on to talk about creating a non-profit organisation called Fight Story. I will leave the link to Fight Story in the description below if you want to check it out, as well as the article that I am reading from. She describes Fight Story as: Fight Story is dedicated to speaking one's truth, inspiring hope, and building a community for those struggling with mental health. It was created to bring healing, awareness, acceptance, and support for those battling through their darkest times, and for their loved ones as well. No battle needs to be walked alone. Skipping through a little bit about Fight Story again, go check that out for yourself. She says, I'm sure there are people out there asking, why are you choosing to share this now? Why did you create Fight Story? On December 26th, 2022, my younger sister Victoria took her own life, which is a detail that we did not know up until this point. I am glad that Angela was able to tell people on her own terms about this, because it's none of our business, really. It is the Lee family's business, and I think One Championship have been fantastic with not only honouring Victoria Lee, but also giving the Lee family the space and time that they need to be in a position to say all of this. And essentially, the rest of it is about Angela's story, what she believes has led to that not being the end of her life in 2017, and how she can use that to help other people and hopefully help other people out of tough situations, and what worked for her and what she believes can work for other people, and things like that. Again, super summarized version. It is a full essay, and it's incredibly brave, and it is it doesn't compromise at all, which is the most important thing for a story like this that needs to be told. And frankly, this story, I say it needs to be told. I think it's important for these things to come out, especially about fighters, where martial arts is such a... How do I put it? you don't see this side to a lot of fighters. So it's incredibly important, but also a decent chance that there are plenty of fighters out there that may have stories like this that we will never know about. So for Victoria Lee, somebody who is at the top of her game as the atomweight world champion, one of the biggest stars in the promotion, to come out and say all of this is very, very inspiring, and I think that it is a vital piece of reading if you have not checked it out. By me already saying that you should about 50 times in this video, you definitely should. There you go, that's 51. And that is where it kind of ends. We don't have an update on when Angela Lee is planning to be back inside the circle. I know that she is doing, I think, a meeting, like a fan meet and greet, or a seminar or something like that on the same day as One Fight Night 14. So there's a chance that we will see her back in and around the media and the fans in just over a week. So we shall see if there is an update on this. But thank you for checking out this video. Thank you to Angela Lee for writing this, because I think it's a incredible piece of work. And I will catch you on the next video when we'll be back talking about fights and stuff like that. All right, see you next time.